Hello guys, and welcome to a new Star Division 2 video today by myself, Vulcan, and Attack Power.
Hey everyone, hope you're having a fantastic day.
In this video we have for you game 2 of a best of 3 between Insha and Khers in the third place final of Season 8 of the Steel Division 2 League. Today they are playing on Orsha East, and on our left in the red team playing on the allied side we have Insha using Fedyunkin and the Maverick deployment type. And on our right in the blue team, playing on the Axis side, we have Khers using the first Blindata and the Maverick deployment type. So just a reminder again to check out the description for the Matcherino link. Make sure to go and donate to the prize pool for the Steel Division League Season 8 final. And you can donate for free if you basically do some of the activities that are there. So definitely make sure to go check that out. But yeah. Attack Power, what do you think about these divisions?
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, guys, to hit that like and subscribe button because Vulcan refuses to say it. And we appreciate you doing that for us. It means a lot. Thank you. Now, Group Fedyunkin and First Blindata. I've been seeing a lot of First Blindata lately. It's suddenly kind of a popular division. It is solid. I mean, it doesn't have any blatant weaknesses. I will definitely say that. There's really nothing about it that's like missing in a horrible way. Me personally, it never works for me. I don't know why I never get this division to really work, but that is literally just me. I see a lot of people play this division well. It's got a lot of armor car spam. You get solid Axis armor. Your infantry is really strong. It's like a weird mix of German and Romanian troops. So solid division. Group Fedyunkin, definitely really odd. A very strange choice. We do not see this one very often. And me personally, I actually really like this division. I find it really interesting. And there's not a lot missing from it. It just doesn't have a lot of longevity. So Maverick's kind of the way you have to play it. But it does have some very interesting things from like the Ur bombers that are like the 3,000 kilogram, like the equivalent of the atomic bomb in this game, can basically delete an area of the map. I don't know if we'll see them, but they are fun. So yeah, and these Strelky DT, which are like their unique unit, they're the only division in the game with them. So definitely a really odd pick, and I'm really interested to see what Insha does with it. I'm kind of sad to see Khers back on Maverick, but hey, you know, it's the usual thing.
Back to normal. But yeah, I was hoping when I saw Fedyunkin that we're gonna see a start phase A, bomb that road.
You can't even get the 3,000 kilogram one in phase A though. That can't come till B.
I think what was it? The other division that has them, is it the Estonians?
Yes, it is the Estonians.
Yeah, they can do it in phase A.
They can? Oh yeah, I think they can. They do get the mega bomber in phase A.
Yeah. All right, let's have a quick look at these units. So for Insha, we got the Vizivod PTR there, the triple PTRD squads they are. Two 50mm mortars, so he's going to be going for a little bit of 50mm mortar micro. He's got the Strelky DT squads with the Strelky there, Sapli Komnoti and the Chernos. Towards the center, we're going to be seeing some Strelky DTs with more Vizivod PTR squads. There's Maxim, more 50mm mortars with the ZIS-3 there. An SU-122 at the start with a couple of Maxim squads, some Sniper and another Strelky DT. On the bottom side, going to be a Maxim, ZIS-3 and a Strelky DT there. On the top side for Khers, he's got the Anoncator de Flacare, he's got the Artilleria and the Pioneer Assault with the Venatore Moto and the Venatore de Care with the 20 mils. Further down we have some more Anoncator de Flacare with the MG42s. Then there's some Venatore Moto with the Panzergren, Stör 42 at the start with a TACAM. That's cool. Let me see the Venatore Moto with the Pioneer Assault 20 mil, MG34 on the bottom with a TACAM. No bomber at the start though. I'm kind of sad.
I don't think Division 1 players cheese that hard. I think most people would be kind of angry at them. It's kind of odd to see this Stu 42 going into the center. I definitely feel like down south it's a little more the usual place to see it, but we do see these flamers grab this early flag. Blue side definitely has the opportunity here to push red off. It's got way more town to work with. Up north we see the big assault coming. This is a big thing. Like once you can push your opponent out of this northern forest area, it's really hard to get back into it. These Vizivod should be able to crush these 20 mils if it can take them on one at a time. If they run into all three at once, it will delete this thing.
Strelky DT arriving in the middle there, getting the better of both of those flamer squads very quickly. They have the 4 SVTs with the Molotov there, the 3 machine guns, submachine guns, a very, very strong close-range infantry squad. Maxim now pinning down the Venatori Moto, but we're going to have to keep an eye on this top-range engagement for sure, because
it's happening.
It looks like Insha has a sort of infantry advantage, I would say, unless the Pioneer Assault are allowed to get into the 100-meter range. But these 20 mils, they found a Strelky DT. They didn't do as much damage as I thought they would, but the VZVOD PTR, they're taking out one of them.
Whoa.
The smoke here is perfectly placed to make it very difficult for those 20 mils to find line of sight.
Now, if he moves this VZVOD too far, he might actually miss him. No, he does see the 20 mil. Let's see if he can delete another. Wow.
These are doing so much
Whoa,
damage.
Those things are deadly.
Yep, they're all dead already.
Wow. I've never seen those things like work so well. Oh, but he did lose his leader there really early on a poor infantry placement there. So he's actually losing the infantry combat pretty decisively
Yeah,
here.
the Venatori Decada going to get off their HE grenade onto the VZ the Flamer squad taking on the Strelky DT, go down to the Pioneer Assault. The 50 mils just a little bit too late to fire here, I fear, and will be pushed out of this tree line. The Pioneer Assault going to be able to kill one of them. Second Pioneer Assault on the top side going to be doing work. Meanwhile, in the mid, Venatori Moto pushed off. Not too much going on the bottom side for the time being. It looks like maybe the 20 mil down there did get killed on the road, but other than that, on this top side, things have gone terribly for Insha.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of poor micro by Insha. Losing that leader early was devastating, and there was really no reason for it. You know, and then letting these Pioneer Assault gets in. These are absolutely fantastic infantry, and they will destroy most things at close range. In the center here, he's finally... We see Insha once again using a commander really early. Just not something you see really often. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of commanders, but it's not something a lot of top-tier players are doing these days. We see the Strelky DT catching out these Pioneer Assault at long range, so they're not firing back, so he's getting this free damage on these, which is huge.
Yeah, on this top side, I was surprised to see Khers kind of like fall back all of his units, even though like we knew obviously he had an advantage. I think he maybe perceived there to be more than there was, but it kind of will give Insha the chance to get more of those Strelky DT squads back into that position. But yeah, on the bottom side here, the Strelky DT have run out of Molotovs. Pioneer Assault still being fired at for free.
Yeah, that's kind of huge, because those Pioneer Assaults could easily kill those Strelky DTs, but they're going to die. And he only gets, I think, maybe 5 of these squads in Phase A, or 4 when he's got the 1 bet. And although the thing is, I think Insha has brought in both cards of Strelky DTs in Phase A, which means once he burns through all these, they're all gone, and his infantry become kind of mediocre again.
Yeah, and Pioneer Assault there, going to be finding Strelky DT on the top side, pushing them out, and... Honestly, if the Venatori Moto and the Artilleria leader can get onto the edge of this tree line, they can start putting a lot of damage into those Strelky DT squads, because the TT is not the best MG. But JU-87 on the bottom side coming in for the SU-122 and does find it. There was also a Reshitsa bought in for Khers, but that's not really going to have a target there for the time being.
SU-2 up north as well. It's got 4 50-kilogram bombs, which can do some damage. They can definitely take out support weapons from time to time. But I would say that Insha's looking kind of out of this northern forest, which is really bad. It's just basically 1 free flag for Khers. The rest of the game, he's not really going to have to put many resources into defending him. It's just going to be there. Oh, it does take out a Pioneer Assault. He is trying to push even further with this 20 mil, quite aggressive. We saw Khers do this with his 20s in the other game. Rashid's is down south, supplying its really strong HE damage. I actually love these things both for their AT ability and their support ability. They're just so deadly. In the center here, Khers has made a lot of progress against Insha's original defense.
Yeah, the Venatori Moto making ground. Strelky only 1 tick away from being pinned, and they're going to get surrendered. 50 mil mortar micro really not helping out Insha much, honestly, so far. Kind of a bit of a risk to bring those in, because it is basically the equivalent of another infantry squad, another 20-point infantry squad that you could otherwise use numerical superiority to win. But in this case, so much pressure coming out from Khers, it's making it very, very difficult to use those mortars on the defensive. They're much easier to use when you're on the offensive.
Yeah, I mean, when you use these things well, they are the most obnoxious thing, and they almost make infantry combat unwinnable for you if you're up against these and someone's using them well. For most people like me and other normal people, they just miss all the time.
On the bottom, the Reshizar was like fire positioning, like indirect fire onto the Maxim, and Insha noticed and jumped to the Maxim forwards and actually ended up pinning down the Reshizar, forcing Khers to fall it back. MG34 has got line of sight onto the Zis-3 in the middle, and the Stur 42 here going to be picking off the Strauki squad. Forced it to unload there. Didn't actually do much damage with that shot, which was surprising. But Insha now coming in
back, so.
on the top side for Insha.
Yeah, I think Insha probably needed some of an MCHA or two at the beginning of the game to fight in some of these tighter areas, like, you know, like pop in and out of the forest in the middle here is a really good spot for them. Now, I mean, Insha has done really well in the center. He's grabbed these 2 flags, and truthfully, if he pushes down south for real at all, if he can take out this TACCOM, this is totally open. He could grab all this.
Yeah, there is definitely not much on the bottom side for Khers, but there's only like one more flag really for him to take that's easy to take on that bottom side, so maybe that's why he's not completely overcommitting just yet. But the Su-2 is coming in again for their bombing strikes, one to the top, one to the mid. One's looking for the Venatori Moto, is going to take it down to 3 health. The one in the mid is forced back by the 25mm and the 20mm.
We do see the VZ VOD here in the middle on the hill actually take out a transport, now getting targeted by everything, but that was a nice little pickoff. TACCOM down south does take a hit from the Zis-3, but unfortunately for Insha, the machine gun on that thing, which it does have, and the HE damage, which is quite good actually on this gun, able to force it off. Yeah,
it was shooting the Strauki, which was just pinning the Zis-3 as well, but now the MG34 moving forwards could, especially with the 2 vet, end up killing that Zis-3 quite quickly. It's not quite an MG42, but MG34 is still definitely hurt, and it is slowly getting chipped over time, and if Insha doesn't notice, that could go down. It seems like both players, their sort of concentration is being pulled on each side of the map quite frequently.
I find that to be a common thing on this map because it's very like sectionalized. You have a fight up north, you have a fight in the center, you have a fight kind of like mid-south, and then you have this southern area. And if all 4 places are battling, it can be really tough to manage all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Strauki DT in the town here. Venatori Moto 2 vet do have those nice submachine guns.
The 150 meter. Yeah, they have 150 meter. Oh no, not the. No, that's not the 150.
They have 60% accuracy though. It's the same as a Thompson, so they do have a little bit of extra damage there because of that. Ju-87 on the bottom side. This is an interesting play from Khers. He's going to be using the cluster bomber since it has no other armored targets really, other than maybe the M4 on the top side. He's going to be using it to try and pin down the Strauki squad here. Obviously, in this case, it wasn't really necessary. He actually stopped the strike midway, as he's now going to be sending it to the top to kill the M4 instead. But yeah, these cluster planes are fantastic for actually pinning down groups of infantry, and you'll see top tier players sometimes do that when they have cluster bombers available that no longer have targets.
Absolutely, these TACCOMs have been really useful. Up in the center here, this one has been killing a whole bunch of infantry that Insha had there. He's taken out most of the Zis-3s, which is actually really bad for Insha because he has no way of like killing these light units. We just entered phase B, so both players now getting that 170 points a tick. Unfortunately, Ju-87 does miss its target completely. It didn't have a full cluster anyway, so it probably wouldn't have killed that MCHA. But we do see Insha working his way back into this woods. He can just kind of Cherno overwhelm this artillery commander.
Yeah, absolutely. The Ju-87 was actually targeted on the Cherno because he couldn't see the M4. But the leader there definitely going to be going down, and the infantry that Khers had on that top side has been broken down completely almost. 2 Venatori Moto now coming up to back him up, and also a Stug 3.
Yeah, if that MCHA is probably going to catch out this 25mm, which is a good kill. Killing off AA is always helpful. Not that Insha has a ton of planes flying around, but he does have strong planes when he decides to bring them in.
Yeah, now one thing we need to consider is that because this is a Maverick versus Maverick matchup, and Khers has been sitting on the flag advantage for the majority of the game so far, it is putting him in a nice position as the game continues. The other thing is this middle position for Khers is quite nice to exploit. If he can bring in some more reinforcements and get to the edge of the hill, stop units getting close to the edge of the hill eventually, then things could go really downhill very quickly for Insha. But Ju-87 coming in, this must be a second Ju-87 looking for the M4 this time around.
Yeah, Ju-87s are just so efficient. Su-2 coming in as well. This is a good recon bomb, really is. Takes out that Insha. Yeah, these Ju-87s are just so efficient. They're really not that expensive. They're only 95 points. They're pretty consistent. They're one of the most consistent, like, AT planes in general. They're just wonderful units.
Bottom side, that Strelky that was causing a little bit of issues before is finally going to go down the TACAM there, landing a point-blank shot. And what was a place that was weak for Khers, he's backed it up with a couple units now, and it's looking really quite strong instead, especially with the maximum of Strelky TT being the only things in the way. The 20 mil finds those units. They're going to go down very quickly. There is an M4 back there, but it's not going to be in line of sight anytime soon.
And we just saw Khers call in a whole bunch of Venatori Moto here to come in to clean this up. And the thing is, Khers definitely has the advantage in this open area. He's got a lot of longer range, like 2,000 meter range HE, along with his Rashitsa, which can totally dominate any AT fight or anything. But we do see our first BS3 100 millimeter. Fedyunkin is the only division with this really good AT gun. It's got really high HE damage and it's basically like the Russian equivalent of Rashitsa, basically.
Yeah, very, very nice AT gun. Maybe a little bit overkill for a lot of the stuff that Khers has, but it's going to be better than Zis 3, that's for sure, or a Zis 2.
Yeah, I think he might actually be using it for the 2K HE ability, really, is what I'd be bringing it in for.
They got the PNA.
I mean, he has to unload it.
Venatori Moto, they have found their way into the forest. They weren't really forced to unload beforehand. And the Chernos, I think they're going to have a hard time against all these Venatori Moto moving in there. On the bottom also, this infantry is going to just massively exploit the salient.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Chernos at close range are actually pretty solid. They do pretty good work. Oh, this Zis-2 has found the Stu-42, but luckily for this Stu, it kind of lost sight somehow. I'm not sure how, because it was in line of sight that whole time, but lucky for the Stu-42 to get out of the way. Huge infantry push there to try to push back onto that hill for Insha. He's not that far behind. It's only well, it's now 14-10, of course, as Khers takes advantage of this southern front.
Yeah, Zis-2 finally takes down the Stu-42. Venatori Moto just about getting into position before these infantry reach heavy cover, but he's going to let that transport go down. It's obviously paying attention more to this bottom side right now. It's really onto this Stu-42 to land a heat onto the Emcha. The Emcha bounced at that range. Oh no, disaster for Insha. The Stu-42 is going to stay alive, and all of these Venatori Moto and Panzergrenze are going to be perfectly in position now to do whatever they want on that bottom side until reinforcements arrive. That was a big loss for Insha there. RNG not in his favour at all.
I don't like Shermans. That's how they function for me all the time.
Well, Ju-87 hanging around in the mid for a bit too long over the 3-star 37 mil. That's going to go down. Ju-87
yeah.
on the top side looking for a strike onto the... I would assume that was where the Su-122 was, but lovely crit from the 37. Going to get the radio overheat, and that might go down as well.
The BA3 now, unfortunately, going up against two IG-18s. It's going to lose this battle, and he's finally folding it back to save it. That was the right choice there, because it wasn't going to win. Up north, though, these Russian infantry overwhelming these Venatori, as I predicted they would, because they are still quite strong, actually, in a forest like this without their MGs.
Well, the Chernos aren't really the problem there. I think the issue he's having is with these Separi. The Separi are super good with their close range HE, and even at medium range, firing from like the heavy to light cover with the SVTs, they can pump out a lot of damage, and the Venatori Moto really don't have the rifles to match.
They do not. Down south, Khers is really piling up a bunch of stuff here. Insha definitely needs another Insha or something. Insha needs another Emcha or something to kind of get rid of some of this light armor, because these AB Hirsches are going to just tear through his infantry.
Yeah. Corpse there going to be taking care of the Sapade. There's just no AT on any of this infantry, and Khers is going to exploit that as long as he can. Zis-2 already down to 3 health there, as well as it did take some fire from the Venatori Moto previously, but more Venatori Moto moving into the middle. Another transport going to go down there. Is a third. Yep, the fourth all of them go down. Khers is just throwing away infantry in the middle. That's 4 units of infantry and transports that he's lost in the center now.
Like in this little like northern area here. Like northern middle? Oh.
No, in the town, like on the left side flag, where the MG42 is firing into the Chernos. He just threw 3 trucks in there and they all died before they unloaded.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. I have just gotten into the habit of unloading really far back. Like, I don't want that to happen.
I think what's happening is he's just getting distracted on this bottom side, and then he's forgetting about the infantry that he's brought in. That SU-2 absolutely whiffing that strike on the bottom side. Yeah, AB Hodges though joining the fray. Vunathori Motor 25mm also coming in now to help against some of these aircraft. Apparently that's going to cause some issue. Oh look, SU-2, it's going to space.
Bye-bye. You'll never catch me.
Yeah, Rashidza in direct fire into Max in there. Things on the top side not really looking in favor of anyone. There's a lot of stuff going on over there.
The Stu-42 finally goes down to that BS-3, taking a shot from the hill there. That was a big kill for him. He needed that armor dead. Insha doing a big, looks like select all Q attack move up north to see it, but he's never getting through this line of light armor.
Yeah, these Horches are going to be trouble, and he doesn't really have the right tank. Like, he's got the SU-122. And this honestly could die to the 20 mils if he's not careful. Like an M4 is what you need here, really. But with that firing and revealing its position, I wouldn't be surprised to see Khers try and get aggressive, because he could definitely pin that down and surrender it, if not kill it. This dude did die on the bot side, so that's not good news either.
No, up north he did sneak as this too up onto the hill, so he has cut off this reinforcement road. And as we've seen several times, it's not hard to get transport snipes on this map, although it is 15-9 in Khers' favor, and we are solidly now coming into the phase, I believe, because the timer's like backwards because it has a time limit, so that's actually more confusing in my opinion.
The AB Hotch here nearly killed the SU-122, but the SU-122 managed to get it shot off. It's going to go in for the second one. The best bet for Khers here, I think, is just to actually keep driving with these, rather than just stand in their way. Almost pinned it down. Well, Rashidza's coming up, but fortunately the Pioneer is saving the day with the MP34 into the SIS-2. That Rashidza could have very easily gone down there. That would have been nasty.
Would have been really, that would have been a huge loss. You don't get that many of them, and they are 70 points. Like, that would have been a huge loss. Now, these Venatori Moto and IG-18s now hitting these Strelki as they're coming. Both players really running into a lot of transport snipes. We do see a 160mm mortar here. This is another special unit from Fedyunkin. I feel like Group Fedyunkin is like the 20th Panzer Grenadier of the Soviets. All these weird units you don't see anywhere else.
Yeah, true. Actually, yeah. 60mm mortars are going to be taking out the BS-3 on top of the hill. On this top side, did the Reshitsa actually still go down? It's gone. It's just gone. The SU-122 is also having a good time now that the AB Horches are gone. It took out another unit of infantry there. So things still, like, going backwards and forwards so much in this game. ISU-152 did join the fray for Insha on the bottom side, and that has been doing some damage to Khers' infantry, but Khers still has a nice salient down here that is securing him a couple of flags.
Yeah, despite how things are going back and forth, Khers has held an advantage the whole time. Except for the very beginning of the game, he has held the advantage. Now, we do see some MCHAs coming in, and those are really key here because there's actually not a lot out of Khers other than the Venatori Ducati that can actually kill those MCHAs efficiently.
He's going to have to really start hiding in these trees if he wants to get rid of those. Force Insha to move them forwards to do the damage and then ambush them. Because bringing in a Stug, but that's actually heading to join the other Stug in the bottom side of the hill. So I'm not quite sure what he wants to do there with that armor, unless he's trying to secure the flag just below where that Maxim is.
The other option is a Ju-87, but there is a 37mm on the hill there, so that's probably not a great option. The MCHA driving in as it kind of can.
I'm just going to be mowing down this infantry, and the Venatori Moto are going to explode as the ISU-152 lands a HE shell directly on target. Khers actually bringing in an off-map plane for the top side, 210mm. Going to have to be careful of that 37. I don't think it's going to be able to really get close enough, maybe. It depends if the 37mm gets line of sight.
It's in a weird. It's behind the hill. Never put your AA right behind hills like this because it actually really cuts off their line of sight more than anything else in the game, other than like sitting it on the edge of the woods on the backside. So he will get it off, but it might die on the retreat here when it flies around the hill.
Exactly. It's going to pull to the right. It's still not in line of sight. Well, it was briefly.
Yeah, so this is just bad positioning of this 37 mil. That it's really quite useless there.
I think what he's trying to do is get it on top of this hill, but nice bombing strike does take out the last infantry squad supporting the Stug here, but he's going to let that Sapperly get finished off. Visivod PTR can actually kill this Stug in the side armor, so might find that. Oh, on the bottom side, Vunatore Takade did manage to find the Panzerschreck kill onto the Emcha.
Oh, very nice, and it has an opportunity to get a second one here as Emcha just way too close to this force, and here he comes. Here he comes.
Yeah, maybe didn't see the first one go down.
Too
late for the second.
Dead.
There it goes. 20 mil now free to run down the Strelki. It's always that great feeling when that happens, when you kill the medium armor that's stopping your 20s, and then your 20 mils can just charge forwards and absolutely wreak havoc.
And it's so devastating when you're the player on the receiving end. You see your tank die and you're like, no, no.
Another transport sniper on the top side, but that looks things for this too. That 1 health AT gun.
The Stug does go down to the ISU 152 down south, so that definitely opens up the armor a little bit, though the Rashitsa here can definitely take out that ISU 152 at that range for sure. And the off-map came down and did good work. It cleared out that woods to let Khers get back in completely with his couple Pioniri squads.
So the Cherno is just like forceful back by that off-map, and it looks like, it killed a lot of stuff in there, including the SU-122. That's now gone. ISU-152 takes its place, though, a little bit of an upgrade. But there is the Stug that can definitely kill an ISU-152 at close range.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know if that would be the position I'd call an ISU-152 in. You know, when you're fighting over this wood. Once you have it, sure, that's great. But when you're just trying to get into it, it seems like a strange call in, especially at this point in the game.
If you could have the ISU-152 up on the hill with that ZIS-2, that would be the ideal place for it, because you would have so much control.
Yep, down south, the horse does go down, so that's a big kill for Insha, but he is down 16-8 now. He's got a lot of ground to make up, and remember, we're deep into C phase now. Both these players are working with pennies here.
Yeah, so where both have such a low amount of income, Insha is going to have even more of a hard time building up enough forces to push back into the positions of Khers. This time around, it looks like the Venatore Moto did make it onto that flag without getting transport sniped 100 times. So they're well dug in. Sapperly coming in close, but these low health Venatore Moto squads chunking hard at close range with this veterancy.
Yeah, they can do a lot of damage. It's easy to forget that some of these infantry squads are quite strong individually, and especially when you're going up against these kind of weaker Strelki squads and Cherno squads, they don't put out a lot of damage compared to the Venatori Moto.
These 60mm mortars have also been very, very useful for Khers.
Yeah.
He's got 4 of them now on the field. Well, there's one, actually, a 5th one on the top side. And he's just pinning down any of the infantry that's trying to push him. He's used them offensively on the bottom side to get rid of like the AT guns, for example. So really, really good use of that mortar support. And honestly, it's the same as the last game where he was like trying to use the 105s. So I think Khers has been really doing well to get his artillery set up and then make good use of it.
And then that's, I mean, it's combined arms. I mean, the best players in the game know that this is the key to winning this game, is building up a strong set of different weapons and troops and using those to dominate your opponent, leaving no weaknesses and being able to constantly pressure your opponent with from every different angle. And
lovely kill from the ISU.
210 comes down in the center here, off map again, pushing Insha completely off this hill once again. That 210 off map is really strong. It does a lot of damage.
The ISU on the bottom side did kill the second Stug there, so that's kind of opened it up a little bit to
big kill for sure.
Do some damage, but the Dreshitsa now firing. But yeah, pushing Insha off the hill here is pretty much the death sentence for him. Like, if he can't get units back onto the edge of the hill, then there's just no chance. And he's only got 1 minute and 45 seconds left because once again, Khers takes Insha to the triple tick.
Yep, that is really... Yeah, and Orsha East, I find once you get pushed out of some of these key areas, it is really, really difficult to get back in because there's so much open ground. You have this middle area that's so like concentrated with cover, and then you have these huge open areas on either side of this hill that once you get pushed out into those, it's absolutely crushing.
On the Venezuelan motto, do they have line of sight on that combat? Oh, nearly did.
Ooh.
The ISU though does finish off the Reshitsa. But to me, it just seems like there's too much for Insha to do, and he's going to have too little points to get it done. Mortify is actually going to be coming down onto the 37 there, and that almost clips the commander as well. He is really not in a great place anymore.
ISU 152 versus TACCOM. I think I know how this turns out. Okay, and it did turn out that way. You never know, though. You never know. Yeah, I don't think... I don't think Insha used some of his like ISU 152s soon enough. I mean, maybe he just didn't have them earlier in the game, but if he had used them a little bit more aggressively earlier, I think he might have been able to swing some fights in his favor.
Yeah. So ISU gonna hopefully deal with the Horch next on the top side there, and
I would think it should.
30 seconds left. Though it's like this cheeky Venatore Motor that was pushed forwards in the center to capture this flag is keeping that triple tick going, even though Khers did lose like the flag elsewhere. So really, really nice.
You go down so fast on a triple tick, you're not used to it. You're not used to being that far down. So like when you are, it's like, whoa, where are these tickets going?
Yeah. These like all of these Sapali, Strauki, Visivod, UPR coming in to provide veterancy, but it's just too late. That's it. That's game. And after 27 minutes and 53 seconds, Khers is victorious with a negative KD and takes the series. So that is congratulations to Khers. Takes third place in the Still Division League Season 8. Commiseration to Insha.
Yeah, really nice play from both these players. I definitely think there were a lot of transport snipes and things in this game from both players, it's honestly a little surprising. But again, Orsha East is a tough micro map because there's just so many really active fighting zones, and a lot of maps you end up on there's one or two spots that get fought over a lot, so you can really concentrate your micro. On Orsha East, you can really fight almost anywhere on that map and realistically make ground or capture a flag, and it makes it hard to really manage that map.
Yeah, I was just having to move my camera up and down, up and down, up
yeah,
and down.
There's just combat.
Track of it.
There's just combat everywhere. And the thing is, too, you can't lose any of those spots because once you do, getting back into them is so challenging and resource intensive. So you have to be all over the map all the time. And it can be it's a fun map. It's a good map, but it is a hard map to play well.
Yeah, I'm actually quite a big fan of the map. But yeah, the 2,340 kills to 2,665 losses for Khers. Most of the negative KD there, it may look like weird, but basically it's due to Khers overcommitting for the flags at the end of the game to finish it off. Lose him a lot of units.
Yeah, definitely a lot of tossed away troops there towards the end. And I mean, those ISU 152s were killing a lot of troops. I mean, there definitely was a lot of dying on Khers' side towards the end of that game. I think he traded much stronger towards the beginning of the game. If we hop over to the kills, we do see that VZ VOD PTR with the 320 mil kills. Kudos to him. Hero. Those Chernos, I don't know if they killed those in transports or surrendered them. I don't know how Chernos each got 3 kills. That's actually really impressive. That BS3 did do a lot of work. He definitely got his value out of that, which is nice to see because these do not get used. I mean, this division doesn't get used often, but this weapon doesn't see much play. SU 122, like we see here, Insha did, like, look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that ISU 152.
Yeah, clean house on that bottom side. Double shift kill, killed the Reshitsa. Yeah, it was starting to really do a lot of damage at the end. But as I mentioned, that was just because Khers was like YOLOing stuff forwards, pretty much just hold his position. So yeah, then and even more ISUs there with another Stug going down, Takam and so on. So
yeah, I think he really should have called those in earlier if he had them to call in. I'm not going to assume to know he did, but those could have really helped him. On the other side, I mean, Khers has a couple units killing, 3 units here and there. Stug. There's a 60 millimeter mortar that did quite well, killed that BS3 there. His 210 off map, but nothing really outperforming, in the way we saw over there on Insha. Just solid play from his combined arms. And you see this a lot when a player plays a lot of combined arms well, you don't actually see units like doing crazy stuff because all the kills are getting shared among lots of different units because, you know, everything is attacking all the time.
Yeah, you got planes, you got armor cars, you got mortars, you got off map, you got infantry. Like there's all of that there. So it just goes to show like how he did that. But that initial infantry engagement on the top side was absolutely brutal. Miss Micro definitely cost Insha quite a lot of points there, having to get back into that.
Yeah, and that's a lot of times if I lose that northern spot, I abandon it. Like that's it. Unless I have some really strong off map or some special thing that can really help me get back in, it's not worth the resources for that one flag because you will spend a lot of resources getting back in, and then your opponent will spend a lot of resources going back after you again.
Yeah, it's just the back and forth. But there was a massive back and forth throughout this entire game, and it was incredible to watch.
Yeah, it's a meat grinder too, and the weird thing is you get one flag from it. You can't really attack out of there anymore because it's too open. It's over one flag, and it grinds up so many of your troops, which is why I'm always like, if you don't win initially, just give it up. You've lost it. Go somewhere else.
Well, there we have it. That was a pretty fantastic game.
Yeah, great series from both players. Congrats to Khers taking 3rd place, and soon we'll be seeing who comes out of Season 8 the champion, Nord or Gonzo.
That's going to be exciting. I can't wait to cast that. It's
always
fun to watch those two players play against each other. But yeah, commiserations to Insha. Congratulations to Khers. That's it from us. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks, guys.